dirty, horrible Manchester City at Villa Park tomorrow night. I'm joined as ever by the idiot Chris Dolan, who is determined to ruin every introduction to this show. I really miss Tom Julian. And also Max Stokes, a bit of a regular on the Villa View now. I've got a girlfriend who doesn't do too much on his own channel at the moment. Max, how are you?
I'm really good, mate. That's a very serious allegation you've made there that is false. I will come out and say that. But good to be on, mate. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, got you on, Max, because obviously Villa on tour, you're Villa home and away, you're at every single game, and the game that we all love has been brought into disrepute. I can't even say, the disrepute over the last few days. I mean, I made some notes last night, and they're all out the window now because it's an ever-changing landscape, this Super League stuff. But just first off, what was your initial reaction when you saw it?
Because there's been talk about it in the past, hasn't there? Like the last few years and stuff. But every time I've heard something about it, I've thought, oh, that's so ridiculous. That will never ever happen. But obviously, it was coming up just massively on Sunday, wasn't it? And then all the statements came out on Sunday night. But I never thought it would happen. Like it was just so mental that I never thought it would happen. And it's just so bizarre, isn't it, that these clubs think they can just go into their own little enclosed league and have their own little sort of thing away from the Premier League and stuff. It's just mad. And the self-entitlement and just the selfishness of the owners and stuff. And I do feel sorry for the players and things like that, the players, the management and things like that, because it's not their fault. It's not their decision. So having to go at them isn't gonna help anyone. But just the selfishness of the owners and their greed and everything like that is just absolutely mad. And I'm absolutely buzzing that it looks like it's in the bin.
Yeah, I mean, as ever, Dolan, it would have been the fans who would have been the big losers in all of this. And what a good thing that's to come of it is that it has shown football's come together, football fans have come together. Because again, it's Man City fans, it's absolutely nothing to do with them. It's the greedy, gutless, horrible owners that are coming up with these decisions and making decisions about something realistically they know nothing about. All they're seeing is pound signs, and that, to be honest, is all they care about. But it's been encouraging, as Max says now, that there's been a climb down. It looks like it's all going to fall through, and proper football has won the day.
I have to say, I'm surprised at Man City. I was watching our good friend Tubes as a golf channel, and he had Neil on last week, and he was talking about what they've done, what the owners have done for the entire sort of part of that city, and what they've done for the football club and the academy, and just what they've literally come in and completely transformed the area. And I was surprised at City, because we all know this is a purely financial decision that was being made by certain football clubs. And like I said, I'm surprised at City because they don't need any money. Chelsea, again, I'm surprised at Chelsea. Spurs, Arsenal, I mean, United, Liverpool. It doesn't really shock you because a club like Liverpool, who I have admired over the years, have started to really, lose a bit of class and self-worth. Arsenal, again, since Wenger's gone, they've completely lost the plot. Tottenham don't surprise me because, I mean, Daniel Levy's just he's just a pure businessman. That's all he's there for. And yeah, United, because, well, again, the Glazers have been threatening us for the last so many years. So I have to say, I'm surprised at Man City, but thankfully City and Chelsea. I always thought if one club backed off, then the rest would probably follow suit. And I think tonight's just the start of it. But for me, this has to carry on. This can't just end now. I think the Premier League have to take actions on this. The reason that this is stopped is because of the fans, because of these fans that live and breathe this football club and these football clubs. And there's been as you said, there's been an amazing kind of camaraderie over the last 48 hours with pundits, with managers, players, supporters, even the big channels like Sky, BT Sport, Amazon. They've all come out and they've all said no, we don't want to. We do not want to be part of this. But I think the Premier League I still think there should be repercussions. We spoke on the phone before we come on, and you'd mentioned about maybe a transfer ban. I think something has to be done here because these owners were minutes away from, well, they'd essentially signed their clubs away. They had done it, so it was in motion. So we'll now find out who was the sort of catalyst, who was this of this league, because these contracts would have been signed, sealed, and pretty much delivered, and now these clubs have to back out of this. So I think a lot more will come out in the press in the next 24 to 48 hours, and someone's going to look really stupid. And I think I think the Premier League have to act, but I also think the fans. I think the Liverpool fans. I mean, do these owners not have any idea who they're dealing with? Like, do they have any idea? I mean, it's crazy. So I'm really glad that it's come to a head, but I still feel the Premier League need to act, and or even UEFA, FIFA have to come together, and I think these 6 clubs need punished.
Yeah, they've got to do something. I mean, I've got to be honest. I felt when it first all came out, Max, I thought this is a power play. There's a bit of Champions League revamp coming up. These clubs want to make sure that they never miss out on the Champions League, because that's what it comes down to. That's where the money is, qualifying for the Champions League. And teams like Arsenal and Tottenham, they can no longer guarantee that they're going to get themselves into the Champions League every season. There's teams like Villa, Leicester, Leeds, West Ham, all on the up. I mean, without that, those teams are struggling to get into the Champions League. As is with the big 6, there's only room for 4 of them to ever qualify for the Champions League a season. So that there's a problem there for all the big boys, because they rely on that Champions League money. So I thought this is a power play. They'll come to a conclusion. They'll make it so that the top 6 qualify for the Champions League automatically. Everyone will be happy. But the more it all went on, it was nothing. It was absolutely nothing to do with that. And that the arrogance of these owners to think that they can pull the wool over people's eyes and think that they can escape. I don't know whether you heard Florentino Perez at Real Madrid today. The guy's deluded. If I saw him on fire in the street, I wouldn't go for a piss on him. I could not believe the arrogance of the man, and the disdain to proper football people, the disdain for football fans. I mean, Real Madrid and Barca, they need money, don't they, Max? They're in big trouble. COVID's really, really impacted those guys. But Dolan has mentioned already, Man City, do they need any more money? It's just mad.
Yeah, absolutely. You talked about Barcelona and stuff there. We know they're in trouble. But for the likes of Man City, these owners are beyond rich, absolutely beyond rich. They've got more money than any of us could ever even dream of contemplating. And the fact they want to just greed, and they want more and more and more all the time at the expense of the fans. It's just mental. And like you said, Arsenal and Tottenham, just the arrogance. They think they're Europe's elite. Like Arsenal have been in the bin since Wenger left, and they're just drawn to Fulham. They're competing with sides around them like Leeds, who have just got promoted, Aston Villa, who got promoted, a couple of years ago. The arrogance of them is just absolutely mental. And it's just mugging off teams that are on the up. You look at Leicester, won the league 5 years ago out of the blue, which is one of the best footballing stories we've ever seen in our lifetimes. And
that's what they don't want. They don't want that.
Yeah,
exactly. It's
they're
mad.
terrified.
That's why we love football. We love relegations. We love promotions. We love last-minute dramas to stay up on the last day like we did last year. We love the Aguero moment from 10 years ago. That's why we watch football. And the fact these owners come in and, I think Liverpool, Arsenal and Man United are run by Americans, and they can't get their heads around relegations and things like that. It's just absolutely bizarre. And they committed this crime the day they signed the contract to agree to this. Like, there's no going back now. They can pull out all they want, but they still have to be punished 100%. Whether that's deducting points, sacking them off out the Premier League for the rest of the season, whatever it is, there has to be a punishment, because you can't just say, "Oh, fair play, Chelsea, they're pulled out." Absolutely not fair play, Chelsea, because they're one of the sides that signed up for this in the first place. They wanted to do this. The only reason they've pulled out of it is because of they've been absolutely slammed by the fans. If that didn't happen, you think they changed their mind? Absolutely not. So I think there's still 100% has to be punishment for all of these clubs. And it's just absolutely mad, isn't it?
I mean, Chelsea are playing now. I've got no idea what the score was. It was 0-0 just before I was about to come on. They're playing at the moment to qualify for a competition. They were completely disrespecting him. Were saying that they don't want to be in next season, Dolan. I mean, the timing of the announcement as well, to announce it when the season's still going, I can't understand what goes through these people's heads. It was like they just wanted to rush it through so they could start in August. It's almost like they saw the pound signs, were like, we need to get this money as soon as possible. Just the timing was quite frankly bizarre.
Well, I think it was planned. It was calculated, because they thought, they're in their own little bubble, still in a semi-lockdown. No, there's no supporters in the grounds. 6 games to go to the end of the season. Spurs sack Mourinho. I mean, if that's not a cover up to take off heat away from the club, then I don't know what is. But no, it was planned, and they would have known months ago. This hasn't just happened. This hasn't just happened overnight. This has been planned and planned and planned. And again, what gets me, if you're the manager of Liverpool, or the manager of any of these 6 clubs in the Premier League, and your owners, your bosses are doing this above your head and not telling you at all what's happening, and then you find out on Sunday like the rest of us, and then you have to front the press and the national media. And I thought Klopp, listen, Klopp's been a prick this season. I thought, hey, fair play to Klopp for coming out and having the front this. Fair play to James Milner. I know obviously Bamford came out and spoke very well. He's obviously not part of that of those 6 clubs, but I just think again these owners they throw a hand grenade and sit back and just watch their manager and watch their players having to face the media, and they had no idea it was happening. Like, and it's just unbelievable. But nothing surprises me anymore. When you see things. I mean, football's not been a fan's game. It's not a game for the people. It's even when you see players on 150, 200 grand a week, relate to that. So it's very difficult to rate the football as a fan, because the players are on another pay grade. The owners are worth they're all multi-billionaires. It's just all about money, sponsorships. It's all about prestige. It's all about, you look at Netflix now getting involved. They're making documentaries. Amazon are getting involved for documentaries. I mean, it's not the game that we know and love. We still love football. It's still we live and breathe it. But this is just the start of it. This is the start of the end for me. Because this hasn't worked, but they'll come back. They'll come back with plan B. And they'll have another plan, and they'll just keep on going, because they're so wealthy and so powerful that they're like kids. They'll keep on going until they get their own way. And I honestly believe, yes, there's a win tonight, and yes, it's a victory. It's lasted 48 hours, and it's a small victory, but this isn't going to go away. And I believe this is the start of the end for football. And God knows where it'll be in 5 to 10 years' time. But I don't think it's going to be in a particularly great place in those next 5 or 10 years, because owners are getting greedier. They want money. They want instant success. They want sponsorship deals. They want to be clubs, known around the world, and they will not stop until they get it. And this is, for me, to think that they can essentially leave and create their own league without any consultation from the sums it up. And I think this is really happy that ESL, whatever it's called, isn't going ahead, but they'll come back with something else.
Well, I mean, the arrogance to think that you can just go ahead and do this and you can stay in the Premier League and things like that. I mean, that they would have left the Premier League. They wouldn't have cared, because all they cared about was that league. The owners, I think
that's why they'd be punished, because they had signed, the contracts were signed. They'd actually signed their clubs away. How angry were we whenever Tony Gia gambled our football club, and we almost went into because he was so reckless that he gambled our football club to get us promoted. I've always said I thank Fulham. I really thank Fulham for beating us on that day. Tom Kearney will always be a hero, because that's the best thing that happened to our football. And could you imagine how angry we felt when we saw our club that summer just falling away? And thankfully, out of nowhere, Edens and Suarez come in, and they have been unbelievable. They've been an absolute breath of fresh air. They have shown us that you can be wealthy, and you can have a soul, and you can run a football club properly. And again, I've spoken this channel over the last few weeks. Results haven't gone away in the last few weeks, but I'm looking to the future, and for me, the future is a very promising one, and one that we get behind, and we're being run the right way. Like, could you imagine? Would you want to be run by the likes of Daniel Levy, Kroenke, the Glazers, John Henry? Would you want that? Because they literally they just don't give a toss. They don't give a toss. And for me, again, I really believe that if we were offered to join that, our owners would have said no. I strongly would not do that. And once again, you listen to Dean Smith today, absolute class act. I want people like be in the face of my football club. The guy is a class act, and he spoke so well. And for me, watch that interview. I watched his press conference. I was very, very proud.
I mean, I think your internet connections try to sign up for the European Super League, because honestly, I can't hear half the stuff you're saying. So I'll just pass back to Max. I think we'll come on to the owners, because I really do think Villa are in a good place with them, and I think we're very, very fortunate. But one good thing to come out of it as well is that teams like Bayern, Dortmund, Paris, that they've acted with integrity. They've just said no straight away. I mean, to be fair, they've come out of this smelling of roses, haven't they?
Parry, love the little French accent.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Bit of culture on the show.
Love that. Yeah, 100%. I love what they've done in Germany in terms of the model with the 50+1% sort of fan ownership. I think fair play to them. They've got football right in Germany in terms of ticket prices, how they're owned, and just everything over there is top quality. But yeah, fair play to them. And I think they're just massive respect to them, because they're looking at their counterparts in Europe, the other big clubs in Spain, Italy, and England, and just looking at them with disgust, basically. So fair play to them. But like Dolan said, I'm just so glad that we support a club who gets it from the bottom to the top, from our captain to the manager to the owners to the CEO. Like, everyone gets it, gets what Aston Villa's about, and gets the fans as well. There is a relationship there. Yes, these are wealthy owners, they're billionaires, just like Man City's owners, etc. But they actually can relate to us in a way as well. So they've got that good mix. So we're in such a good place. I'm so happy that I'm looking at this from an Aston Villa point of view, and just looking back at the absolute mess that the top of football is. And I'm just sitting back and appreciating it, because I'm a Villa fan, and we're in such a good place. And like Dolan said, the future of football, based on what we've seen in the past, it's not going in a great way, but we're in the best place possible with the situation we're in. So we can only wait and see.
Yeah, because we've had some badges. I mean, I know all football teams will have bad times, or football supporters. It's all relative at the end of the day, because whenever Villa have been having a bad time, there'll be a team a few leagues down having an even worse time than us. But we worked hard to get back into the Premier League. It wasn't easy. We were in the Championship for 3 years. It was a slog at times. I absolutely hated it. But you know what? We earned the right to be back in the Premier League. We got ourselves there, and now we're trying to earn the right to push ourselves up and progress and be one of those teams that potentially can qualify for the Europa League, can qualify for the Champions League, and to have that opportunity taken away by these people that know nothing about our game. They know nothing about football in this country. They've just got money. They've stumbled upon owning, well, not stumbled, they've owning a Premier League club to make a fast buck, to make as much money as possible. Now, I put a tweet out earlier basically saying how lucky we are with our owners. Now, I don't for 1 minute think that they come into this and they're not interested in making money. Of course they want to make money, but they're building Aston Villa the right way. They want to get us back up to the top the right way. They act with integrity, that they admire our heritage, they treasure it. Everything they do is with Villa's proud history in mind. And as Dolan said, we're just so lucky, because I think if we'd have been in a place where we were approached to be in this Super League, I think we'd have said no. I think we'd have done a Bayern Munich. I think we'd have done a Borussia Dortmund. We'd have done a Paris. I don't think that we'd accept it. Persloh's statement has come out and said as much. And at the end of the day, Perslow, the CEO, is invested in Aston Villa. So it benefits him for Villa. It would have benefited him for Villa to take that money and run. But I really don't think we operate in that manner, Dolan.
I agree. And, obviously I'll never know if someone offers you 350 million or so, but for one, again, our owners are so rich that how much more money a multi-billionaire do you actually need? And this is the thing that baffled me about Man City. And the thing is, it wasn't just the fans, it was the players. So you gonna tell me they're gonna leave the Premier League and join this Super League, and all their best players are going to walk away? Of course they're not. The whole idea is to have the best players play in the best league, and the best league in the world with the best players in the world and the best teams in the world is the Premier League. So if you're gonna leave over the sake of a cool 400 million quid, but you've no players, everyone's deserted you, then it's never going to work, you know. And I, like I say, I was out on Sunday. I didn't really look at my phone all day Sunday. I kind of only saw it, sort of quite late on Sunday night, and only really got my head around it on Monday morning. And you sort of read it and you looked at it, and it was never going to happen. It was never going to happen, especially when you were involved. And they were going to ban clubs in the Champions League. They were going to possibly ban players for playing for the country. You tell me if you're, well, for a start, Gareth Southgate or the FA, and one of the most promising generation of footballers coming through aren't going to be able to play for England. Do you think that's going to happen? Absolutely not. Do you think people like Marcus Rashford and Harry Maguire and Mason Greenwood, do you think they would risk their international careers, risk playing at World Cups, risk playing at in European Cup games? Do you think they would risk that? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And these players are paid so much money per week that they don't need any more money. So it was never going to happen. But like I say, the fallout from this will be huge. Somebody made a point there. I had a look at the comments that they should be fined the £400 million that they were going to take. Slap that on them.
It's never going to happen. It'd be nice.
Never going to happen, but something has to happen. Something has to happen. Do those top 6 clubs start with a 12-point deduction next season? Do they have a transfer ban? Something has to happen. You can't just say, "Oh, do you know what, lads? Cheers. Oh, fair play for backing out." No, there has to be consequences. There has to be.
Yeah, well, hopefully there's got to be something. I mean, they can't let this lie. There needs to be a lesson, because otherwise, in 2 years' time, when everybody rolls on, they'll try to do it again. So something has to happen.
Exactly.
The whole thing was just bizarre, because you're in the Champions League, and the different, you come together and you play these big teams. It's once in a blue moon. You're never really going to play the same side 2 seasons in a row in the Champions League. Let's say that Villa are going to be part of that Super League, Max. You're doing Villa on tour. You're going to be going off to Madrid one week and then Barca 2 weeks later and stuff like that. Like, it's just no concept of the UK-based fans. I mean, I put a tweet out yesterday about the Super League being a joke. Suddenly I had South African football Twitter panning me, saying, what are you on about? This is the greatest thing that can ever happen. And the worry is, and I'm not knocking foreign fans, because I know so many foreign Villa fans, and they're brilliant guys. They support Villa in the best way that they can. They're proper supporters. I know they love the club. I've spent time with some of them. But the game, it's like these clubs, the owners, they want to move the game away from people like us that go to the games, and all they care about is people abroad watching it on telly. Gary Neville said something about, if everyone pays a pound to watch it, gets 150 million views, they get 150 million pounds just in broadcast rights. It's like the people like you, Max, that go week in, week out. It doesn't matter anymore. Doesn't matter what you think. Doesn't matter what your opinion is. Doesn't matter whether you get to a game or not. It's all about money and greed.
Yeah, exactly. I remember, I think it was a couple of months ago or a couple of years ago, they were thinking about, was it one game a year where Man United would just play Real Madrid in like America or something? Why?
The 39th game or something, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it's save all that for pre-season. I'm happy for clubs to go and do pre-season tours of Asia, pre-season tours of America. I'm happy because, like me, I wasn't born in Birmingham, so I couldn't pop down to see the Villa every week. So if you grew up, if you're born in America, you're born in Asia, wherever it may be across the world, and you have a chance to go and see your team play in a preseason friendly or in an Audi Cup tournament, that's all great. That's great. Save it for preseason. Happy days. I don't mind that at all. But don't think you can break away and create a new league. It's disgraceful.
But they've already got what they want in the Champions League. If you're good enough to qualify, you're in there and you've got those games. You're playing Real Madrid, you're playing Bayern Munich, whoever, because you've earned the right to be there. I mean, it's just madness. I mean, Man City have got away with one a little bit. I do think there'll probably still be Villa fans that turn up tomorrow and have a pop at them. And to be honest, I don't think that's right, because it's nothing to do with Pep. It's nothing to do with the Man City players. I'm sure they want no part of it. But Gary Neville at the end of Monday Night Football saying, "Come on, Villa." I wanted Leeds to beat Liverpool on Monday, Max. I wanted them to. It's not good for Villa, that, because it could help Leeds finish ahead of us. But I just thought the message that would send, it's like they're scared of competition. And I suppose we should talk about the game a little bit. The games feel weird to watch now with all this going on. It's like the game's secondary to what's actually happening in the football world. It's a weird one now to be playing Man City with these owners and what they've had planned, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I think we saw it on social media yesterday with Leeds and Liverpool. Everyone was behind Leeds, even the Villa fans. It's just mad, isn't it? Because we'd never been in that position before. We're never going to cheer on Leeds, are we? Especially with our league position as well when we're fighting to finish above them. But I think everyone will be on Villa's side, just like they were with Leeds the other day. Like, it's just everybody just hates these top six clubs and what they've done. What top six? Okay, the big six. They're not even the best six. That's the most frustrating thing. Like you said, you have to earn it. Just like Leicester are, just like West Ham are. They are earning their position. West Ham are in the Champions League places. That's mental for them. That is absolutely incredible for their fan base, for their club, and they have deserved it, and they deserve to play Champions League football next year. For these clubs to come out of nowhere and just say, right, yeah, we're the biggest, we've got the most money, whatever, we just should do it, even if we come 10th in the Premier League, like Arsenal or Tottenham, for example.
Arsenal are the ones for me. I just like
I know, they're a joke.
On Sunday, they've got the Brighton on loan goalkeeper coming up for a corner in the last minute because they're 1-0 down to pretty much relegated Fulham and, celebrating like they've won the league at the end of it. And then you're telling me they're good enough to be in a Super League. They get absolutely ripped to shreds by the top teams. Absolutely ripped. They should be glad they're not in the Champions League because they'd be embarrassed. I mean, we beat them twice this season. They haven't even scored against us. It's just the whole thing is just embarrassing. But we do need to preview the game, so I should probably move on to the game. Probably a good time to play them in some ways, Dolan, because they've got the cup final coming up at the weekend. But they literally rotate their 11 every week, and it doesn't matter which 11 they put out. It's top class. I mean, De Bruyne is going to probably not play tomorrow, but it doesn't really matter because they'll just put someone else in world class.
It's never a good time to play Man City. I still think, watching the game.
When I say good time, take that with a pinch of salt.
Yeah, I mean, if there's ever a good time to play them, it's after the fallout of this, which we never knew was going to ever happen. And then obviously, as you say, a few days before a cup final, I think they're going to be a little bit wounded after the FA Cup defeat because, they don't win the FA Cup. They might not get beat. They might not beat Spurs on Sunday, and then all of a sudden, what have they got left? The Champions League and the Premier League, and
that must be hard. Must be horrible only the league and the Champions League.
I know. God, I know.
Terrible.
You feel for them, but I'm just saying, their season is based on winning trophies. I mean, we all know that the one trophy that they want to win is the Champions League. But even if they rest 3 or 4 players, they've got more than enough to walk past us. And I thought there was signs of encouragement against Liverpool a couple weeks ago, but not much. I mean, let's be honest, that's the worst Liverpool team I've seen in many months, and since we beat them 7-2, and we still didn't get the job done. We've been behaving like the Villa of old, the Villa of last season, giving away sloppy goals and not seeing the game out, and it's just concerning. And I want the season to be over with. I'm bored of watching it at home. I'm kind of bored of and I'm bored of watching Villa play because we've been really boring. And then this has obviously kind of come up, this whole nonsense over the last 48 hours. So I just kind of want to get this season done with, and then go again in the summertime and try and get some fans back in the stadium because our season's gone a bit flat, and it's sort of fading away a little bit easily. And like I said, if we don't finish in the top half, I'll be furious.
Well, that's been. I get what you're saying. It is petering out at the moment. There's still a chance to turn it around, and there has been a lot of very, very good moments. Albeit we've been watching it all from home. Dolan said it was a decent display at Anfield. I felt when we played Man City in January, Max, even though it was away from home, they were on good form. I felt like we had a chance. But I got to be honest, I don't really feel like we've got much of a chance tomorrow night. Is that a fair assumption?
Yeah, I think going back to that game at the Etihad, I thought that was a really decent performance. I think we could have won it as well. Which I think it was 0-0 for the last minutes. Yeah, Jacob Ramsey had a chance, didn't he? Just missed out, but their quality just shone through that night. And I think, look, I think we were better against Liverpool. There was like little moments there, but I still don't think we're anywhere near the level that we were, towards the end of 2020. Because since the turn of the year and the coronavirus outbreak at Villa, we just haven't quite been the same. Especially even with Jack Grealish, you think back to Brighton away, a couple of games around that time. Just even with Jack Grealish, we were just absolutely nothing was happening, weren't scoring goals, anything like that. So I think there's still a bit of an issue there. I think, like Chris said, it has gone a little bit flat, a little bit boring. And I think there's nothing really to fight for. I just think we need to finish in the top 10 100%. If we don't, that's a failure compared to where we have been, because we've been pushing for that 6th, 7th spot for the whole of the season. So if we don't even get in the top 10, although it doesn't mean a fat lot, it's still frustrating. But
we might be in the top 6 if people get points deductions. Could still get, that top 6 finish.
This game on Wednesday, I don't see it happening. Even with no De Bruyne, look, they can rotate their whole 11. They've still got quality everywhere. So not really looking forward to it, but hopefully with everything that's gone on, maybe their heads won't be with it. Unlikely, I know, but we can only hope. But
I'm not looking forward to Sunday either. Really I don't fancy Sunday either, but we'll save that debate for another day.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you've never looked forward to a single football match.
No.
that we've ever. I don't remember you ever saying, "Yeah, I'm really buzzing for today. I really think we're going to win."
Newcastle
at home. Text like that.
Newcastle
when we're Newcastle at home. That's probably the only time I remember you being confident. Problem we've got at the moment is, I mean, we talk about Man City and all the options they've got, especially across the front three. They've got untold options. We're kind of like down to the bare minimum now, Dolan, with the front three. No Trez, Troy, all right. I'm not sure what was said in the press conference today. Max, you might be able to enlighten me, but I don't know whether he's going to be fit to play. No, Jack.
I think he will be fit. I think he's been seen in the training pictures, but maybe that doesn't mean much either, does it? But
so it's going to be Troy or El Ghazi, Watkins as the front three with Davis as the sub. You would imagine, which we are down to the bare bones in the front three when we've not been scoring anyway.
Oh, it's terrible, isn't it? To have that as your front three. All respect to Ollie Watkins, he's quality, but when he's got nothing around him, it's and then you got Davis to go off the bench. It doesn't exactly fill you full of confidence when you're playing a team like Man City. But I'd chuck Big Keenan on. I'd go 4-4-2 and just chuck Keenan on just for a laugh.
I don't see us going 4-4-2 against Man City, if I'm being honest. We should have done that. That could have been done against Liverpool, because I really think Liverpool could have been got out. But that Man City defence has been incredible all season. Again, Stones, Diaz, Laporte, Stones, Laporte. Doesn't matter which pairing they go for, they're going to be difficult to break down.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, it's a hard game. I mean, you don't want to get thumped, because then you really are losing momentum. If you're suddenly getting a thumping, you're in a bit of trouble. But I don't know, stranger things have happened, Max. I kind of do feel like the players will be fired up, because it will have annoyed players who aren't. I mean, it will have annoyed players that are at the elite clubs. It's going to annoy players that are playing for the other teams as well. They'll be fired up. It's something to play for. It's that you want to prove to these guys that, look, you think you can just mess around and just leave us high and dry and try and disrespect our league. We'll go there and we'll give you a game, and we'll try and beat you. He's a chance to make a statement. And Dean Smith doesn't send his teams out to defend, does he, Max? You know, he wants us to have a go. It doesn't always work. But there's an opportunity for Villa to go and make a statement with the whole country behind them.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that, you know, the whole country will be behind Villa and wanting them to win, just like they did with Leeds. But I definitely think this will work in our favour. To be fair, I kind of agree with Chris. I don't think why not go 4-4-2, because the way we've been playing with this 4-3-3, we've done it over and over and over again. It's clearly not worked with no Jack. There's no creativity. So why not? You talk about their great defence, and with Ollie Watkins isolated, he's a great player, but when he's isolated, he can't really do anything. So why not shove Keenan Davis up there with him just to unsettle them? Okay, it might not work out, but why not give it a go? Why not just?
I mean, John Stones prone, if John Stones plays, he's prone to a mistake or two. So why not get Davis up there and ruffle some feathers? That's my view on it.
Yeah, why not? We've got nothing to lose. We're not fighting relegation or anything. I know I can't see it either, because I don't think Dean Smith will do it. But why not? Just give him a go. Like, I think he should have come on against Liverpool. I think that was a good game for him to come on.
Yeah,
maybe not start, even come on. But even for him not to come on, that's saying something for me. And like you said, I don't think he'll start Keenan, or even it might not even come on. But I think I'd give it a go. Why not? Nothing to lose. Just give it a go.
What midfield are you playing, Max? Because, I mean, whatever midfield we play at the moment, just not quite happening in the middle of the park for whatever reason. I wouldn't say they're all off form, but we're not quite managing to get the balance right. Whichever three we pick, or two and then one in front, it just doesn't seem to be working at the moment. So what are you doing against Man City?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I like McGinn in the attacking role. I think we saw it at first against Fulham after the international break, when he did well for Scotland, scoring a few goals. I like McGinn in that role. He gets further forward. We saw he can score goals from that position, so I'd be tempted to play him at the number 10 over Ross Barkley. I just don't fancy him by any stretch of the imagination. Sanson's injured, isn't he? So that's a tough one.
It's not a
Nakamba and
game to be
Louise,
throwing him in
just
anyway.
allow McGinn to go further forwards. I don't know. Like I said, it's a tough one, isn't it? Whatever happens, because that has been our issue, the midfield, over the past couple of months. So I don't know. But for me, I think McGinn's got to start further forward. That's for sure.
Yeah, but what do you think hears from me and Dolan all the time? At the start of the season, you had McGinn, Louise, Barkley. You knew what the midfield was going to be. It was consistent. They were playing well. We weren't leaking goals. We were looking good going forwards. And now, like I say, there's just no combination seems to work. Have you got? I mean, I'm imagining you haven't. Any reason you think that's happening?
I don't know. It's just inconsistency. We've seen it pretty much everywhere on the pitch. I don't know what it is. I think everyone has their ups and downs, but it's just strange because we've seen McGinn in that role have great games, like Chelsea away, where I thought he was absolutely phenomenal. But then at other parts of the season, he was good. Yeah, he's had a couple of really good games in that position, but then other games he just sort of goes off the boil and you don't notice him and he's getting running through, etc., etc. Same with Louise, he has great games where he's dictating the play, but other games he goes missing. Same as McGinn. So, and then Barkley's just a completely different story where he's just gone off the rail since that injury. Unfortunate, I know, but I don't know what it is. It's just inconsistency, and that's the thing, because that combination works at the start of the season. It really did, but since then, I really don't know what it is, but it's just not quite working.
Do you think it'll be Nakamba, Louise, McGinn, Dolan? That feels like the one for me, to be honest.
Yeah, that started the Carabao Cup final, didn't it?
Against McGinn didn't play in the Carabao. He was injured. Oh, Jack played as a 10. You forget this. Elmo was playing on the wing in the Carabao Cup final.
Yeah, I thought we'd give them a good game, to be fair. In the Carabao Cup, I thought we'd give a pretty good game. Yeah,
different side.
Yeah, and I thought we'd give them a pretty good game, as you said, at the Etihad. We were robbed with that first goal, which was a disgrace. But I mean, as you say, the midfield, whatever midfield three you play, isn't very inspiring at the minute. Louise has gone off the boil. McGinn's gone off the boil, and Nakamba's good, but it doesn't really offer too much. It will be. I think it will be Nakamba, McGinn, and Louise, and there's not an awful lot of creativity in that midfield three, is there? So,
I'd describe it as industrial rather than creative.
I just think you talk. The question to Max was, "What do you think it's gone wrong?" It's Jack Grealish. That is the answer. He is the answer. When he plays, everyone ups their game. When he plays, everyone just becomes an 8 out of 10, and when he's not playing, then they're looking. They've no one to look for. He's just not there, and so he is the answer. He is the reason. He's the sole reason why they're not performing, and that is. You can dress it up all you want. The answer to that question is Jack Grealish.
Yeah, it's frustrating, Max, isn't it? If there's one player you don't want to pick up a long-term injury, it's Jack, and it's exactly what's happened. And along with probably some other things, it does look like COVID has played an impact at the club. We've not been as good since then, but Jack not being there is just huge.
Yeah, like you said, when you've got a player of Jack Grealish's quality, of course it's going to make a difference because he's that much better than everyone else. But like I touched on in that Brighton game, 0-0, I can't remember any of the other games, maybe a couple of games around there. We had Jack Grealish, so I'll get Chris's point. Of course he's going to make a massive, massive difference. But even with him, there was something not right with that midfield, and we didn't even look like creating anything in that game. I keep on going back to that game because that's the only one I can remember. But there's other games as well around
Southampton, but I thought that was a good defensive display at the time.
Yeah, more than anything.
Burnley away.
Yeah, Burnley away. Yeah, absolutely.
We were ticking that game. To be fair, that was actually the best we played.
In that game. I mean, he almost scored the goal of the century in that game. To be fair, so
that was the best we played this year, and we lost.
It was.
Yeah, exactly.
It was.
That's a frustrating thing. That's the best we've played in a long time. If we had that consistency, we'd be where West Ham are. We'd be challenging, but it's just the inconsistency and playing so well in the first half, like that Burnley away game, and then just chucking it away to stupid set pieces and things like that. It's just frustrating. It's a great season compared to where we've been, etc. In this argument and stuff, but it could have been so much better.
But this is where even West Ham, they've lost Rice recently, and suddenly they're leaking goals. They've had some other players missing as well, but Rice is in front of that back four with Souček. They've had something disrupted, and they've not been good. I mean, they go 3-0 up in games, and it seems to be a really dangerous score for them. Leicester have picked up a few injuries. I mean, they've had injuries all season, in fairness to them, but they've not been as good in the league.
They've all got good squads, Dan. They've all got good squads. They've all got
they're better than our
squads.
I don't know whether
I'll
go along
benches,
West Ham
they've got
central
most, they've
midfield. No, they lose Rice. They've got Mark
Simon-
Noble who's coming towards the end of his career.
No, but they've got
It's not
players
the
like
same.
they've got players like Bowen who can come in and do a job. They've got players like Lanzini that can come in and do a job. They've got good football. They've got a good squad. Leicester have got a good, really, really good squad. Even like Palace have a really solid, sort of strong bench. We just have a really, really, really weak squad.
But it derails you, is what I'm saying. They've not been the same. Rice has got injured, and they've lost a game.
Well,
You know, we've lost our best player. It's going to affect us.
Yeah, but they're shipping goals, but they've also got Lingard, who's become out of this world in the last.
And that's what we haven't
3
got.
months.
And that's what we haven't got at the moment. Someone on form banging in the goals.
They lose Rice, yeah, but Rice isn't exactly. Rice is just a really, he's just a kind of the enforcer. I still don't particularly rate Declan Rice, to be honest. But yeah, I still don't. I still don't rate him. No, he's okay. I think he's overrated. But they've got Lingard, who's just been unbelievable. I mean, they sold Haller to Ajax. Antonio's been came in and out. He's been injured, but they've got such a good sort of front 3 or 4. They've got Ben Rama on the bench. They've got Lanzini. They've got Fornell. Lingard's come in and been unbelievable. Souček's been unbelievable. Soufal's been really, really, really good. They've got a good squad. We don't, and we're still in the midst of a big rebuild, and we need to go again in the summertime, and we're still 6 players short. And I think this time next season, this season was so good, the window was so good, and the summer was so good, and we were looking so promising. But I honestly believe, unless there's an ESL Part 3, I honestly believe that we'll be pushed top 6, top 4 in the next 3 or 4 years. We're that close. We are that close.
Completely agree with you. I mean, I'd say we're on the same level as Arsenal now.
Yeah, and I honestly believe, this may sound ridiculous, I believe that 7-2 win against Liverpool completely I think it shocked the world of football. When you think about what's happened, like they've been awful this season. They have been awful. And to show what can be done, what other teams can do to a club like Liverpool, who were unstoppable over the last 2 seasons, to see their home form as well, what's happened to them at home. There's no wonder people like Henry have gone and I'll take that 350 million quid and we'll get out, because they've been found out. And as you say, this is the league's getting more and more competitive. Dean Smith said it himself today. In the next 5 to 10 years, it could be the Big 12, the Big 14, because clubs are really there's more than now the Big 6. West Ham, Leeds, Villa,
Leicester. Leicester are always up and around it.
Wolves were kind of huffing. Wolves were around there a few seasons ago. Everton, Southampton have had glimpses. So there's some really good teams in the division. Some really good teams. So this so-called top 6, bar Man City, can be got at. Not a problem. I don't fear really any team in that division apart from Man City. They can all be got at. And this is the thing. This is what makes the league really competitive.
Again, the WhatsApp group tells me different, that you don't fear anyone. It really does. I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
You know what I'm getting at.
I do.
But listen, man. Whenever we were on flames back in December, I did fancy us against anybody. I fancied us against Chelsea. I fancied us going to Old Trafford. So when we were in that run of form in December, I was buzzing. I really did. I was very confident going into every game that we could at least get something out of it. So that's why I think if we can add another 4, 5, 6 quality players, then we can really challenge. Yeah.
Well, let's finish off. Let's get some score predictions. I've just had in my head that I don't think Aguero scored for a year, so I'm imagining he's probably going to start.
Hat-trick.
Score. Yeah, get him in your fantasy team. Although actually the deadline's passed, so you won't be able to get him in your fantasy team. Max, give me a score prediction.
I'm going to be very pessimistic and go for 3-0 Manchester City, unfortunately.
Dolan?
Yeah, I agree. 3-0. 3-0 City. 3-0 City.
I'm going to go with a 1-0 Man City. There we go. Not too bad. No, just a sneaky 1-0 for Man City.
Just the one.
Probably Aguero penalty. Let's after a VAR. disaster. One thing to say before we go, I mean, I will say it hasn't really been a match preview because all we've done is speak about the Super League, but obviously it's a very, very hot topic at the moment, and we wanted to discuss it from a Villa point of view. Hot topic. There was a competition a few weeks ago on one of our Luke shows, and to win a T-shirt, I couldn't tell you what T-shirt it was, but it's on our Instagram page. But I have remembered to pick a winner, and the winner drawn out was Bedford Carl, the Bedford Lions. Great guy, so it's good to see him win the Luke Roper T-shirt. I'll be in touch with you, Bedford Carl, and we'll sort out delivery of that T-shirt. Hopefully, Adam will remember what T-shirt it was because I haven't got a clue. We will be doing a post-match point tomorrow as well. So if you like the Villa View, you'll be putting up with us for 2 nights. Ready, Max? What are you doing tomorrow night? You fancy coming back on? Or are you too busy? On the spot.
If the invite's there, go on then. Why not?
I forced him in. I can tell he doesn't want to do it.
No, I'll be there.
Yeah, we'll get you. We'll have us 3 on again, and we'll do a post-match point tomorrow. Yeah, let's hope it's positive because the score predictions there have filled me with a little bit of dread. But yeah, post-match point tomorrow night. Come and join us after the game. Thanks ever so much for bearing with us tonight and listening to us. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. As I say, good to get this stuff talked about from a Villa perspective. Have a good rest of the evening. Up the Villa.